Hey everyone, good evening. It is Monday, 21st of July, and welcome to another T-Log. I think this may be number 12 or so now. What are we on? Yep, number 12. Sorry about the attire. I literally went to the gym tonight, did some running, relaxed, sat down. That's the big mistake, don't sit down. So yeah, the reason I sat down, of course, was that I thought I'd have a look through what's been happening in the testing community over the weekend. I didn't get to do a T-Log on Friday because, as you know, I disappear back home, so it's a bit of a catch-up. And there's some really good stuff been going on. The big one, of course, was that the weekend testing Europe 47 happened, facilitated even by Neil and Amy. Looks like it went pretty well. Got I think he talks about 28 people being in chat. Okay, not everyone participates. That's fine. We understand that. So that's pretty good. Neil has posted his take on the event and put his own testing notes together here. Some pretty interesting stuff, actually. I mean, some of the stuff that perhaps more experienced testers will be aware of, but stuff also that gets missed. I mean, it's good that Neil lifted some of these out. And again, there's some plenty of links and other information that he's provided here. Oh, I must put a comment after I finish reading this again. Always like to read these posts twice because you pick out so much. The other thing is he puts the official what he calls experience report on the weekend testing website, so you can have a good read through. I guess officially what was put up there and what was shared during the event, so you can kind of relive it a little bit. And you know, the some of the people that he calls out as participants, you will know. Srinivas Reddy. I know some of these names in passing. It's very strange, isn't it? As you read around the testing community, you do get to know some people in part, I guess. AJ, who doesn't know AJ and Michael Bolton, of course. I'm going to have to click around some of these other people and see what work they've been doing. In fact, on AJ, I'm hoping I won't have to introduce Michael Bolton to you. He like James Backer are a mainstay of the testing profession, aren't they? Two guys that just seem to have been around forever. I think I've said that about Michael before. Michael holds a special place in my heart because he was literally one of the first, let's say, professional mentoring type testers that I encountered on the SQA forums, and I feel I owe a lot to him. James Back to a degree as well. I've certainly read and studied a lot of his blog and his material and tried to apply it, but Michael is certainly a great mainstay. The good thing about the profession, though, is that there's always new and interesting people coming up, and AJ is definitely one of them. I've just pulled his website up here. Enjoy testing. And in fact, just pulled up. Let's just hit the home page here. AJ, again, is one of those one of the I guess leading India-based testers that has very quietly, certainly from the European perspective, perhaps, but very quietly gone away and done some really strong work, and in that kind of Indian, I don't know what, approach, mentality, very humbly, very I'm struggling for words here, but very kindly just put the material up, no big ego, no kind of showboating, waving our arms around, no wanting to prove that he's the best tester in the world. Pradeep Soundararajan, probably got the surname wrong. Pradeep, again, is a great guy. Runs Mulya Testing. Has been doing for I think about 4 or 5 years now. Again, doing absolutely tons of work and just giving it back to the community. And the reason that I clicked on a link on AJ's site here was that I noticed he's actually giving away some testing books that he's authored and were to be paid for 800 Indian rupees, it looks like. I don't know if it's a collection, but hey, point is, here he is giving it away again. And click through on one of those. Not had time to read through properly. I only found the link tonight, but I'll definitely be downloading these, and maybe I'll do a little review if I get time. So definitely hit AJ's website, have a read through. As in the previous T-Log, I said the idea of, in fact it was Michael Bolton, wasn't it, reading through one of the testing luminaries, let's call him. One of the people that provide a lot of information. We can see he's got various blog posts here that would be worthwhile reading through. I don't know if he's got like on Michael's. Oh, you could search here, couldn't you? I was going to say Michael's is nice because it's just got that grouping where you can hit the grouped or the tagged posts very easily. But definitely hit AJ. I've just followed him tonight, and I recommend you do as well. Let's show some support. Just looking for anything else that was just sprung out on this website. Talking about other testers that you will know, I lifted out that Michael Larson, here we are, it was, sorry, there we are, Mark Tomlinson, I was looking for the other name, and Mike Larson do a conversation here, I'm just about halfway through this I think, about testing career paths, so how Michael got into the testing career, what things he's done, how he prepared himself, and his views on the testing career. I won't give too much away. I always want to just introduce these things and not tell you the whole story, except all my own stuff, of course. Definitely worth a listen. No registration needed here. Just hit the website, play it. You can even download it for later if you like. Again, Michael Larson, Mike Tomlinson, two pretty well-known names, I think, in the testing community. So do check out the testing podcast website here. And I noticed he's got some good links out to other stuff as well. He mentioned the twist this week in software testing. I did an interview, I don't know, 2 years ago possibly, on this, and he mentions in the podcast here about going back over the twist podcasts, revisiting some of the topics that people have spoken to. So I'm going to listen to my own and see what I disagree with myself on now. As I mentioned to you before, on the blog, in fact on the main website as well, I've got this is essentially an archive. So there's an archive of material here, and I don't always agree with myself years down the line. Some of the papers, for example, I think I would look back now and say some of these papers were a bit weak, but they're okay. They're still useful. So it would be interesting, I will say. Whoops, find the right one. That's AJ's. It would be interesting to revisit the Twist podcasts and ask the people that have done them, what do they think of their opinions now? How has their thinking moved on? How has the test community, what they've read, what they've learned, their experiences professionally, how has that moved them on from where they were? So definitely go and check out the Testing Podcast website. Again, I'll put links both on the YouTube and the blog post for these. One of the perennial questions that comes up for certainly those people who are not, let's say, possibly not IT professionals, or they are and they're looking to move ahead in the IT profession, obviously in our case particularly in software testing, is do you need to learn programming or do you need to learn scripting? And Rahul has kind of shared a presentation here that he did actually at looks like Unicom, I think I'm seeing under there. Again, have a read, see what he says. He does put some sort of acerbic comments in there, and I think it's clear that and certainly my opinion, he talks about bias in the presentation, so maybe I shouldn't bias your view of what he says, but in fact, okay, he says it on the screen there. You absolutely have to learn scripting. There is no question that you must learn at least scripting. And when I say scripting, I mean things like, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, VB script. Do practice some VB script. Okay, this is programming in Lua, but I thought it was scripting. It looks like a scripting language to me. And no, I suppose strictly it's not. And also, for those of you that look at the YouTube videos and indeed the blog, you know that I have used Ruby primarily, but then who can avoid using SQL? So here is VB script, Ruby, SQL. So just in day-to-day work, a little bit of automation, a little bit of task automation, not even full-on framework system level automation. You're going to do something with code, I think. And I think only the most basic roles now, the basic manual testing roles, don't touch code. But of course you do. And so complete ignorance of code is insanity. There's some comments in here, I'll let you discover it in the slides, about how, you know, there's scriptless automation. I think that's complete nonsense. I can't believe that anyone would think they would do test automation and never have to touch any scripts. I get the point of the scriptless automation, you know, the keyword driven. I'm sure it's actually in here where he talks about the keyword driven bull. Yes. Oh no, okay, it's not there. Yeah, I'll let you have a look through. You have to learn scripting. That's it. So, is it VB script? You know, primarily for say ALM. Is it C#? Even is it, you know, JavaScript, HTML, CSS because you're web front end? Is it SQL or some kind of, you know, PowerShell because you're you know, you're more under the covers, you're doing database type stuff? You're going to touch it. You will in your career, so get learning now. There's a Chinese phrase, isn't there, that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And so, if you've not done it, get doing it, get on with it now. Start picking up a scripting language. I recommend VB script if you just want to just get going with something that's simpler and accessible. I love Ruby. I think it's really good. The most ubiquitous one, of course, is Java. But there are many more. It depends on your field. You know, I'm learning Lua over there because, as some of you know, I have a games testing background. Lua is one of the languages used in gaming, so that's why I'm having a look over that. It's a new book, as you probably saw. So have a look at Rahul's presentation, and again, it's one of those perennial questions that keep coming up. But I think, yes, you have to learn some level of programming, some level of scripting, even if it's so that you can have informed conversations with developers, you know, and not use it necessarily day to day. Now, one of the people that I've known for a while, I should probably have mentioned before, is well, the people. One of the people is Anand, but the website is TestingGeek, and there's a post here about how at least one of them is going to be able to start working on a website and a business called Planned Departure. Planned Departure is interesting. It's about, you know, the idea that we have a whole bunch of digital assets, and when we die, what happens to them? Where do those assets go? Who gets charge of them, etc.? The website itself, in fact, I have pulled it up here, focuses on the idea that you've just died, which is not a very cheery message, I suppose. But a bit like life insurance, you know, you will, and you know, you need to be planning what happens to your digital stuff as well as your physical and monetary stuff when you die. So here is a service that they've put together on that, and I certainly recommend you have a look at this. It's an interesting thought about you know, the current state of where we are with technology, the fact that technology is ubiquitous, everybody has technology around them, and so where is that going? Who owns that? And you know, if there's assets on there that are of use to your family, you know, some of us might be producing, you know, I don't know, books, scripts, training courses, etc., that would be of monetary value to your family. Are they just lost then? Does somebody then try and steal those or take ownership of them, etc.? Not just that, but then other assets. Maybe it's you're into writing, you have some other creative works, and again, are they lost? So much of what we do is now on the computer, it's out in the cloud. When we die, is it gone? Well, let's hope not. And so Planned Departure is definitely one to look at. Not so much, I guess, about testing, but certainly something that us testers, being so technology driven, certainly need to consider. There's a similar set of services that I put together as part of TestHats, which was this one to establish and protect your online identity, and this was about, you know, having a consultative discussion with someone about their online identity as it existed and as they would wish it to exist. But also, in terms of this one, it was about creating personas, and this is obviously what happens as well. So, there are personas. I post a lot as Cyrith. So on my Blogspot blog and my website, it's Cyrith. Now, because of the connection with myself as Mark Crowther, like the profile page, that would be fine. But if I had another persona online, that may be completely lost. And it may be my professional persona, my personal persona, etc. Developing personas is and persona families is one way that businesses operate as well. So when you go into a new website and the community seems active, how did that happen? Well, maybe there were early introductions, but there's a good chance these businesses are using personas. Not that I'm saying that was some of the work we've done before. If you are doing it as an individual, you could certainly lose these, or your family could lose them. So something like Plan Departure could help with that. Another one that we worked on as well was the Digital Separation Intermediary Service. And this is, again, something else that other people could certainly own. And this really, Plan Departure to me, is an intermediary service for managing digital assets. And I think that is, again, massively important. The DSIS product that we had was for people that were perhaps divorcing, or primarily businesses that were perhaps the owners were separating, or the business was being carved up, and we could essentially take the digital assets that were either known or believed to exist, and we could do some forensic type auditing to see whether those assets did exist, and then we could collate, store, categorize, etc. those assets and hold them until, in one case, until a court ruling was completed to decide ownership. Owning assets or managing assets essentially owned by other people can break the terms of service for many websites. So again, it has to be done in a professional manner. You may find that if you don't use a service like Plan Departure, for example, or DSIs, that Facebook will say, you don't own this. I don't care that you've got the password, I don't care that you know everything about it, you don't own it. And are they going to find out? Who knows? But if there's some assets, perhaps again, you've written a couple of handbooks, a couple of testing books, and now you're saying, I own those, I want the commission from them, my husband or my wife used to own them, you may not get them. So again, using an intermediary service can just add weight to that. So it's an interesting thing. Now, on the website, as a final little piece, I'm going to, this is on YouTube. I've got the next installment in in Ruby of flow control. So the last pieces of the basic flow control elements, and then I'm going to pull this together and in part 14 as a what have we learned so far, and then we'll take this forward. I've also been polling friends and family about some more VB script videos. So on the VB script videos, what I've been trying to do is show you how to use VB script, because if you go to, I'm not sure it's Cool Square. Oops, hang on. Let me just see if I can find these. The Simply Coded. Why am I pointing at the screen? If you go to Simply Coded, there are more than enough VB script basics for you to learn there. So what I've tried to put on the website here is, great, how can I actually use that VB script to do useful stuff? And I've got a list of 10 further items that I'll try and build out these videos. And the reason I'm telling you part of this is so that you can say, where the hell are they when I don't deliver them? SQL database will stand there for now. So that's some of the stuff that's coming. If you look over to the wall over here, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to show you this, but on the left hand side here are all of the items that I'm researching. So that is things like Darknet and Hidden Web, the EC2 free instances that you can use, how to set up cloud servers, expositions of some of the papers that have been written, some of the templates. In the middle there is the to-do. That's the stuff I've decided, yes, you know what, we actually do need to talk about those so I can expand, again, the material and context that I talk about. And on the right hand side here is the stuff I'm actively trying to put together. As you can see, the list grows, so I probably need to really shorten these sort of end of day updates that I do here. But that is that. Let's leave it there. Do, as always, pop along to the blog and visit the YouTube channel and let me know either by email or via comments what you found of interest, what you would like to see, and I'll respond to that. So thanks so much. Let's get on to the next tutorial.